we're here in mid-Ohio, and, I've already been here about an hour, and I can already see why IndyCar is so infectious, why the people here love it so much. It must have been a tough decision for you to come here, but I think you probably found the same. It was probably obvious that it was a great decision about an hour in.
Yeah, absolutely. After Formula One, I wanted somewhere where I could be challenged, where I could be competitive, where I could have some fun, and where I could have the chance to win every weekend. And IndyCar was the best option for me. Then I came here. I didn't know if I was going to like it or not, in all fairness. And from the first few races, I just loved it. I love the fact that the fans have got access to everything. I love the fact that the racing is tough on track. There's a good camaraderie between the drivers. And it's just a great atmosphere to come racing.
Yeah, Mid-Ohio is not a track that you've got particularly fond memories of so far, but that could change this weekend. What kind of track is this for people who've never heard of this track in the middle of Ohio?
Yeah, it looks more like a roller coaster than a racetrack, to be fair. There's so much change of elevation, but it's actually a really fun track. Very slippery because the tarmac is super old but challenging. Yeah, it's a good track for the races. It's not easy to set up the car properly just because of those elevation change, but it's a lot of fun.
Excellent. Well, we've had two good moments for you this season, 2 second-place finishes in Alabama and Long Beach as well, but also some quite frustrating races. I mean, how do you sum up your season so far?
Started really well, exactly as we wanted it to be, and then we had a bit of a rough moment because the months of May and June, they haven't been kind to us. I think some of it is our fault, some of it was just pure bad luck. And that happens. So, here in Mid-Ohio, reset everything, go back to where we were at the beginning of the year, have some fun, and hopefully we can win many races to the end of the year.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. The Indy 500 in the UK and in Europe has always been something that, people have watched. It's a landmark race. It's one of the big three. But IndyCar itself, I've noticed in the last year, and we've been doing this show since the start of the year, IndyCar is becoming more and more popular in Europe. And I don't know why that is, but I would love to get your take on it. It's surely the racing.
It is. I mean, I haven't met anyone that has watched an IndyCar race and doesn't want to watch it again. The races are fun. The races are wild. There's a lot happening. I do think it's part of the best racing you can produce on track. So anyone that's watched a race wants to watch it again. Obviously, sometimes with the time difference, sometimes with the exposure, it's not so easy to watch, but there's more and more TV channel in Europe that broadcasting IndyCar at a good time. So, I think it's definitely something you want to watch.
Yeah, we're really, really enjoying it in the UK specifically. You come into this championship with, a higher profile than a lot of the drivers due to what you've done in F1. How have the fans welcomed you? Because, Drive to Survive, for example, you featured very heavily in that towards the end of your F1 stint. So, people must mob you wherever you go.
Yeah, I think people have been very nice, very kind. They adopted me as a Swiss-French guy living in the US now, but the fans have been really great. They've been supporting me a lot. I'm excited about it, and I can't wait to give them many wins.
Now, I've got to ask you, a lot of people will know you from Drive to Survive, and a lot of the American fans will know you from the crash that you had. Do people want to talk to you about that? And are you happy to talk about that? Or is it something you'd rather not discuss with people?
It's part of my life. It is a big thing, but I also have 10 podiums in Formula One and the best result for Haas ever. I've done some great stuff. The crash was obviously a moment that a lot of people watched and were shocked about, and I think the way I handled it was, I don't know, it's hard for me to say, but people think that it was very inspiring the way I came back to racing, and that means a lot to me. But I also wish that Drive to Survive was there in 2012 and 2013 when I had a great car and was just doing a lot of good stuff. So, good thing is I've got many more years of racing and many more chances to win races and also be known as the guy that won races after the crash.
Well, look, hopefully people, who get to know you through IndyCar will go back, they'll look at your career and they'll see those highlights. A couple of your former teammates have been doing very, very well recently. Let's start with Fernando Alonso. I mean, at his age, coming back into F1, could you ever imagine that he would be, so competitive and get the podium consistently?
I mean, that's awesome. Fernando, it's such a great driver. He drives like he was 25 years old, but he's got the maturity of a 40 years old man. So absolutely amazing. I think he's got a great car and definitely gets the best out of it. So that's been good to see.
He's obviously a driver that was very, very successful in F1. He came and he dipped his toe into IndyCar and then he went back to F1. You know what's coming next, 2026. Andretti have made no secrets that they want to get involved. Could we see a return? Is the door open?
I'd never say never, but right now I like to win many races and championship around here and see what the future is like. But Alonso opened the door for the oldest guy, a little bit like me, that it is possible to be competitive at the highest level, even when you're above 40.
I think we also have to give a mention to Antonio Giovinazzi, who won Le Mans a few weekends ago. Very, very impressive to see, former F1 drivers going and excelling in other series as well. What do you want your legacy to be in IndyCar?
I don't know. I don't really think about it. I just think about having fun, winning races, and doing my best. So, I think when my career is over, I'll look back at it and watch what I've been doing. But for now, I'm just deep into it and loving it.
Is there anything else? Are there any other series? Is there anything that may be slightly stranger that you'd like to compete in before your career does come to an end?
There's a few things. NASCAR, I like to try NASCAR for a bit. I'm gonna be back to Le Mans 24 next year with Lamborghini. That's gonna be a great adventure. There's some cool racing in the US that I may be keen on trying.
Well, we've seen Jenson Button this weekend. He's in Chicago, isn't he? In that NASCAR street circuit. You'd like to have a go at that, surely?
Absolutely, yeah. I looked at the Canada. It doesn't really work for this year, but maybe next year I get a chance to try it and see what it can do.
Excellent. Well, look, Mid-Ohio is a track where we want to see you do well. Have you managed to pick a favourite track yet so far?
I love Road America, we just did. I love Long Beach, Laguna Seca. There's a lot of great tracks in the US.
Okay. Couple more questions. Oval races. In the UK, we look at oval races and we're like, what? I don't understand it. And then I think you watch an oval race, I think you understand just how exciting they can be. How long did it take you to get your head around that?
It's definitely a challenge. The oval, it's not something we have in Europe. It's not something we grow up with. So it's not easy. And then within the oval, you've got a super speedway and a short ovals. They're very different. I like them much more than I thought I was going to like them. But you also rely a lot on your car, which is sometimes a bit frustrating. But you can't overdrive the car. So it's a really good relationship with the engineer, with your car, and to build over the weekend.
Excellent. Well, look, it's been great catching up with you. I'm going to let you go on and get your head around this course at Mid-Ohio. Something that we ask all F1 or former F1 drivers while we're here. Obviously, Lewis Hamilton is the home favourite in the UK where we broadcast. Can he win the 8th championship?
Not this year, but maybe next year.